KHEA Radio. It's just after 9 o'clock. We are going to be talking about Habitat for Humanity. So it's Bay Area Habitat for Humanity. We're going to be talking about how you can get involved, what they do, and you're going to find out a lot of really useful information. Make sure you share this out. Let me know if you have any questions. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. My name is Gardy. It is 9:04. I have a guest in studio. I'm going to let her introduce herself and then share what she has going on.
Good morning, Gardy. Hey, guys. My name is Rayanne Reinditch, and I am the Marketing and Development Coordinator for Bay Area Habitat for Humanity.
All right. So I'm excited that you're here. I've always heard about Bay Area Habitat for Humanity, specifically kind of what they do, and I think I've seen some of the properties and cool things that they've done. So if somebody hasn't heard of them before, can you explain what do you guys do?
Yeah, so Bay Area Habitat for Humanity is an individual affiliate of the overall Habitat for Humanity that you've probably heard a ton about. So we are a Christian organization that assists individuals with the home building and purchasing process. They are given the opportunity to work for their down payment, and then they purchase their home from us at a very affordable mortgage rate, basically. So 90% of the time, when people are renting, it's because they can't afford the down payment, or they're not really sure what the next step is to get into their home and to own a home. So we help them through that process, and we help cover that down payment for them.
So buying a home is hard. That's a lot of stuff that goes into it, and one of the hard things is like the cost. At times, that's like just one of the things that goes into it. So who is this for? Like, who's an ideal candidate? And I guess you had mentioned there's an application process, but who is this designed for?
So there is an application process, and there's different requirements, financial requirements that you have to meet, certain housing situations. Obviously, you have to demonstrate a genuine need for this assistance. So on our website, you can see the breakdown of incomes. So you obviously have to be able to afford to pay a reasonable mortgage, but at the same time, you can't make just an astronomical amount of money and just spend recklessly. That's really not a legitimate need for it. So we have a variety of different individuals that have gone through the Habitat program. We call them our family partners, all sorts of different backgrounds, different ages, family sizes. So we just sold 2 homes this past month, and they were completely different family styles, in my opinion. One was, she wasn't old, but an older lady, a more mature adult, and she had taken in twins, and then she had her own children, and she also takes care of her mother, and they were all crammed into a really small apartment. So we were able to assist her with getting into a home. So now she owns a home here in Texas City, actually. I've done a few live videos at that house. And then our LaPorte home was a young mother of now 3 girls. She just had another baby. A young mother of 3 girls who had been working and fighting and trying to be independent, and Harvey took her home. Harvey took everything that she had. So they're completely different situations, but very similar circumstances, obviously. So now she's moving into a home in LaPorte. So the application process, you'll present financial documents. You'll interview with our board of directors. There's like a special team that you'll meet with, talk about your needs, talk about your income, your debt, all that kind of stuff. And then you'll go through financial literacy courses so that you can learn how to make this a sustainable solution. And then home ownership basics 101, right? Because it's completely different owning a home than renting an apartment. You've got property taxes, you've got changing air filters, the whole 9 yards. So you'll go through those courses as well. And then once those count towards your sweat equity hours. And then once you've attained all that, then we build your house and you get to purchase it from us.
Okay, so sweat equity. What is that?
You're working. So we've got a ton of different volunteer opportunities. So the way that the overall process works is really, really cool. So Habitat for Humanity, not only are we that social service that helps these individuals get into their homes, but we're a mortgage company as well. So we have all of our own mortgages. You're buying the house from us, and then you're paying us the loan terms. It's an interest-free mortgage, and you're paying it back to us. Your mortgage payments help us accrue the cost or help us afford the cost of building future homes, in addition to volunteer hours. Those help cut down and save on the cost of the homes, and that's how we're able to make these mortgage payments affordable. So your sweat equity hours can be anything from attending those financial literacy courses all the way down to volunteering and working on these homes, swinging a hammer, coming and laying sod. We're laying sod at 2 homes in May, and we'll have volunteers that will soon be receiving Habitat homes that will be working towards their sweat equity hours. You can volunteer during the week, or you can come on a weekend, and the opportunities are endless, really.
So how many hours does somebody have to put in the sweat equity?
300. So you have to put in 300 hours to cover your down payment for your house.
So I don't know much about construction, like anything at all. Maybe we talk to Ryan Stubbs. He'd probably know, because I'm like,
Ryan's brilliant.
If it was just by myself and I had 300 hours straight, could I build a house from scratch? I don't think so. Right?
Yeah.
But no. I could, maybe a tiny, little house or something. 300
definitely would not cover the total construction of the house. Fortunately, we have been really, really fortunate to have multiple crews in different areas, different communities that help work in combination with the family partners that are doing their sweat equity. But there are some things too that obviously we don't want volunteers to do. So electrician and electricity type related things, I'm probably not. Maybe
I'm saying plumbing,
roofing.
I'm running the backhoe. I'll be like,
exactly.
They put me on this, right?
We're not going to put Guardy on a backhoe. So there's certain technical things that we do hire out. And so I can't tell you exactly how many hours it would take if we had only volunteers doing it, but it's definitely more than 300.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. What's the feel and the consensus from the people once they receive their house and they realize they put in the hours and the work and I helped make this come to life? How does that make them feel?
I can't imagine. So I'm seeing it. I'm seeing them, sign on their home, but I cannot imagine the overwhelming variety of emotions that they must feel. I would imagine that there's relief, there's excitement, there's pride, because they weren't just given something. They work very, very hard for these homes, and then they buy them from us on top of that. Like they're sole, complete, and total owners of these homes. And so I would imagine I would just be overwhelmed. A lot of them have told us, thank you for making a dream a reality. They've dreamt of this and they thought it was unattainable, and now it's something that's happened and taken place. They're homeowners. And then knowing that you helped construct your own house or helped somebody else make their dream a reality.
Okay, so it's Bay Area, or it's Bay Area Houston Habitat for Humanity. So when I hear Bay Area, I always wonder, what does that entail? Because you mentioned Texas City, and then I think you mentioned LaPorte. So what is y'all's area?
We've got a huge territory. If my boss Philip is watching, he'll probably laugh because I've already told him I don't understand geography very well, so I'm not going to say east and west, but we build in LaPorte and then all the way down to here. We have homes in Galveston that we've built, but it also does expand as far east-west as Alvin. We've built in Alvin. We have property in Alvin. So Alvin, Friendswood, which I don't think we've built in, but it's technically in our It's technically in our service area. We got our start in Dickinson, Texas City, Lamarck. Those are both coming. We just closed on houses in Texas City. We'll be starting some more soon. Galveston, and then LaPorte. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So just, start at LaPorte and come this way.
Yeah. The cities around here, they all kind of intertwine anyways. I know LaPorte's, that's not in Galveston County.
No.
And parts of Friendswood is, but Alvin is not. Alvin's in, Brazoria County.
Brazoria.
So y'all touch on these different counties and all the cities intertwine. But that's pretty much what I think of. I think of the Bay Area. Houston.
Yeah, in our office, we're based in Webster. We're just down the street from NASA. So we're in the Clear Lake area, so that's obviously part of our territory. But we touch several different counties with our affiliate.
So how long have y'all been, the Bay Area, section of that, the branch, how long have y'all been doing what y'all do?
So we were founded in 1991, and we built our first house in 1992 in Dickinson. And so we had a ton of land. I don't know if we purchased it or if we were gifted it. A lot of times the economic development departments for the cities will gift us land.
That's cool.
It's a fantastic partnership that we have with the cities and getting to do this for our community. So we started in Dickinson. We built a ton of houses in Dickinson. And actually, we just this past week received, I'm sure there's been more since before I started working for them because they're 20 to 30-year mortgages, but we just received a payoff from a family partner this past week, and she's in Dickinson. And I think that's just the most incredible thing. I've reached out to her. I'd like to try and do like a blog feature and talk to her about Habitat and what it feels like to pay off your house after all of that.
Yeah.
And she paid it off early too. I was looking at her documents, and she had a 20-year mortgage, and she paid it off in 15, which just blows my mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal for literally anybody. So.
Yeah. Well, those houses, even the ones that were built in those early years, it's coming up on 30 years.
Yeah.
For them, as well. What if somebody wants to sell their house? Do they have to move or something happens? Is that just like a normal process?
I believe so. I think they need the blessing of the board to do something like that.
Yeah.
They do sign agreements. I can't remember what the time frame is, but I know that there's like a certain amount of years that we ask that you stay in it if possible. Obviously, if you have to move, you have to move. Life happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're just a normal mortgage company. We'll just take care of it and help you with the selling.
Because right now, if you look at the housing market, everything is like up. It's like, man, I just got this house built 2 years ago, but the it's worth a lot more than it is, back then. But it's just like sometimes it makes sense to sell. I was just curious, but that makes sense. You have to, you need to stay there. This is the agreement, and you got to do it.
Looking at it from a financial standpoint too, I'm not trying to give up an interest-free mortgage loan.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't be moving, but if they're paying it off, then I'm sure they could sell it and do whatever. I don't know if I'm sure before I came on board, I've only been with the organization for a month. I'm sure there is somebody that has sold their home. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Philip, he is the director of this.
Philip Golden is our executive director. Yes.
Is he from the county or from Dickinson?
So he's from Houston, Bel Air area.
Okay.
And he served as executive director for another nonprofit that worked with individuals with autism. So he did that for quite some time, and then he came down to Bay Area Habitat.
So if somebody wants to get involved and just help and volunteer, are there opportunities for them to do that, and what are those?
Yeah, so if you visit our website, we are working on revamping that completely. But if you visit our website, there's the different types of opportunities. If you want to do administrative, or we used to have the restore, so we had people who would volunteer at the restore, construction, whatever you're interested in. There's different ways to contact us. We also have been posting a ton of those opportunities on social media, and we have different sign-up forms. So coming in May, we have 2 volunteer opportunities laying sod at the homes that we just closed on. So there's one in LaPorte and there's one in Texas City. You can visit our website or our social media to sign up for either of those. And then our construction opportunities, like if you want to get in and build that house, the standing dates are Tuesdays and Thursdays, both in LaPorte and in Texas City. But if you have a bigger group, like if Abundant Life, like Gardy, if you're trying to rally the troops,
let's go.
We could do a special Saturday build and come out on a Saturday with your whole crew. There's been women build opportunities, so a whole bunch of females get together and build a house. I think that's so cool because the 2 houses that we just closed on, and I can think of at least 3 more, those homeowners are females. So I think it would be so cool if we do women builds, it's multiple women builds for those homes, right? Like built by ladies for a lady. I just think that's so neat.
So there's an organization called the Houston Lady Lions, and I've interviewed them, multiple times, but that's what they will do. They'll go volunteer at these different events. I know they've done that, specifically for veterans. That's one of the things that they feel called towards, but they'll get out there and they work hard.
Yeah.
You talk about, laying sod, which is just grass, right? It's, when you lay sod, I did that one time in my yard. I made the mistake of thinking like, yeah, sure. How much does it cost you this? Yeah. Oh man, I got it. My dad has a truck. So me and my dad are out there, and I was like, man, that cost. It's hard work. It's hard work. Yes.
You get like 10 plots. Are they called plots? You get like 10 squares of grass down, and you're like, done.
Yeah.
Over this. Yeah.
It's like whatever was there before. What happened? I had like chinch bugs or something, so the grass started turning. I was like, it didn't even look that bad. I could have got some spray paint.
Get the grass spray paint. I don't blame you.
So these volunteers, like, how hard can they expect to work? Because I'm thinking about laying sod. I mean, you're working.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would come ready to hustle for sure. I try and make sure that it's bigger groups. So for laying sod, I'm aiming to have, 10 to 15 people there to help lighten the load a little bit. The construction volunteers, there's only so much they can do at a time. So, they're obviously not building an entire house in a day. We have to do permitting and inspections and all of that. But I mean, it's real. We're building a real home. So
yes,
you're not just going to come hang out. So.
No, just kidding. Yeah, I was like laying sod. I'm like, yeah, it's got that. No, it's be prepared to work. Do you need to bring like a lunch? How long does that day last?
So
if you're working?
Lately I've been saying let's plan on like 9 a.m. to noon. Obviously, if there's still only half the sod laid, we're gonna have to work a little bit later. We have had volunteers provide lunch in the past. Maybe, bring some lunch. We can always try and bring that as well. But that's another volunteer opportunity, really. Again, if Abundant Life wants to come, maybe some of your ladies can stay back, make some sandwiches, and help volunteer in that way if they're not trying to get a tan and lay some grass.
Yeah, that's what's up. Okay, so here's a question that came in. They're wondering about the application process. Like, where do you go to do that, find out information? Is there a way to sign up for email blasts, anything like that? How do they do that?
Absolutely. So you can sign up for email blasts on our website, and that's where the application can be found as well. At this time, we are not accepting applications. We are closed for the year due to a waiting list. So once we get through with the homes for the individuals on our list, we'll open that back up. But the information just to see if you qualify is still on the website, just not the actual application. So you can see the different financial requirements. It talks about the sweat equity. You can find all of that on our website, and it's all letters. It's BAHFH.org. So it's just our name abbreviated. Yeah,
so if you go and you check out the website, see if you qualify, I would sign up for email blasts so that way you would get notified if there's a change, like, hey, applications are open. Or maybe you can get familiar with the process, go and volunteer, and people will see you. I imagine that would, potentially play a factor. You've been helping, you believe, and to make that happen. So that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's obviously no favoritism in the process, but I would imagine if you're already an active volunteer and our team already knows you, that only helps with getting through the application process a little bit faster.
Is there a board, or how does that selection committee go?
Yeah, so we are governed by a board. Every, like I mentioned, every affiliate is their own individual. We're operated independently, if you will. So we do have a board of directors. We have 7 or 8 individuals on our board at this time. And so there's a smaller committee, the family selection committee, and they're the ones that will meet with you after we receive your application.
Okay, so if somebody lives outside of our area and they're watching this somewhere else, is there a way that they can see if there's a Habitat for Humanity in their area?
Yeah, so there are 70 Habitat affiliates in Texas, so I feel very confidently that you're located near one. So definitely visit the Habitat for Humanity website, and then you can, I don't know if you can type in your zip code, but I know there's a way that you can search and see who's near you and track down what would be your most appropriate affiliate. There's a ton just in the Houston area. There's the Northwest Fort Bend, there's Habitat Houston, there's Habitat Pasadena, who we partner with all the time. There's College Station. So there's a ton just in our geographic area.
So what did you know about this organization before you started working there, and what is it that I guess attracted you towards this cause?
Yeah, so I actually have known rough information. I've known a little bit about Habitat for my whole life. I actually volunteered with my dad whenever I was a little girl. My dad is a home builder by trade, and so he was volunteering at a home. I don't know where, maybe Dickinson. He was volunteering at a home, and he brought me along with him, and it kind of just stuck with me. And then Reba McEntire did a campaign with them for a little bit, and I'm obsessed with Reba. So as a teenager, I was like, that's really cool. That's a neat organization that gives houses to people. Wow.
Yeah.
And then just as I've gotten older, I've just kind of always known about it. And so I have a heart for nonprofits. I've always loved working in the nonprofit sector. And so whenever I saw that they were hiring, I jumped on it and immediately emailed and applied and did all the things and was like, hi, hello. And so since working with them, I've learned a whole lot more about the organization. The misconception that the homes are gifted to the homeowners, that's not true at all. So it's been really interesting to learn some of those really common myths, to learn more about what they do. I love it even more knowing the process that goes into it and how these homeowners are so empowered. So not only are they receiving, safe and sustainable housing, but they're working for it and it's theirs. So.
Okay. So earlier you talked about your dad. That's how you got introduced to it whenever you were young. And he, that's what he did. He built homes, right? So if y'all had somebody that wanted to volunteer and that's like their trade, like, hey, I'm in plumbing, I'm an electrician, they would be definitely, their services would be welcomed.
So welcomed. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually trying to get my dad to come out for a home build, but he's building houses. He's busy.
Yeah.
So I was telling our executive director, like, we need to build an Alvin next so that my dad can hop over on his lunch break and help us with the construction of a home. So yes, if you are a licensed trade or something like that and you would love to volunteer, please contact me. I will welcome you with open arms and I will happily find a job site for you immediately. Robert Villarreal, who's a member of y'all's church, I've already hit him up for telecom. So telecom wiring service hopefully will be our newest volunteer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of opportunities for that. We would love to have them.
That's cool. And that's important. So I used to work for AT&T. So when it comes to like wiring.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. But that, like, how you have to do it. You don't have to. You can do it after the house is built. But there's so many things that you can do before. And it's so much easier. It's like, well, maybe I would want, to put a data port here. Or maybe I can hook something there instead of like after. Because then you're climbing to the attic trying to drop these walls. And it's so much harder. But
yeah, I would imagine that we would need to do it like before we put the sheetrock in, or, before everything gets solidified. We have the plans, and we have like 2 house plans maybe that we use. And so I would imagine at this point the builds are very methodical, and we know exactly when things need to go in, and we know exactly what trades we need versus what volunteers can do. And so we've got it down to an art so that it's efficient, it's cheaper for the homeowners, and more ways that we can utilize volunteers.
So you were talking about the myths, and I think the main one is that the houses are gifted, but there's a lot of work that goes in there, and then there's a mortgage. Is there any other myths that are floating around?
There's so many myths. So everybody thinks that this is Jimmy Carter's organization, and that, did you think that?
No, I didn't think that.
I had heard that.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter did not start Habitat for Humanity. It was founded by Millard and Linda Fuller, and then so they started it in Americus, Georgia. They were missionaries. They started it in Georgia. And then actually Jimmy Carter came in after his presidency. He was he still is, a very philanthropic individual, and he got plugged in with Habitat, and it was just kind of history from there. He's definitely one of our most beloved volunteers, but he does not own or found or have any sort of that kind of connection to Habitat. He just found it and stuck with it.
He believed in the cause and wanted to put some work in.
Yeah, and they do. He does home builds where he'll go out and they'll build like an entire community. They'll do build campaigns, and he very much is an active volunteer still. So
yes. So when it comes to getting the word out, social media is a huge factor. Is there any like regular things? I think you were even talking about like Myth Busting Monday.
Yeah, I'm going to start doing Mythbuster Monday on a fairly often basis. I probably won't do it every week because I'll run out of myths. But yeah, so we're going to start busting some of those. I'm trying to think of.
You're going to like start creating new myths. Like it's a rumor and it's like, did you start that? Like nobody said that.
I'm going to create my own myths and everybody's going to be like,
Monday.
What is she talking about? Yeah, no, you have to wear purple to buy a house. I heard that once. So we'll be doing Mythbuster Monday on social media, and we'll start doing some blogs and things like that.
Cool. So. And then if somebody, so there's houses in Texas City that's getting done, and then LaPorte's getting done. Where's the next one? Did we already talk about that?
So we have houses, the next 2 houses that are coming, one for sure in Texas City and one for sure in LaPorte. We have several lots and properties available in Texas City, so we're gonna be here for quite some time, and that's why I wanted to get connected with you. Like, we're doing a lot in the Texas City Lamarck community, and they don't always realize, you know, we put a sign out in front of the house, but we're here.
Yes.
So
yes. So whenever I did work for AT&T, and I don't usually bring this up all the time, but there were some houses, and I'm pretty sure they were Habitat for Humanity houses. And so I remember like hooking up like internet and doing some other stuff in these houses, and they were really nice.
They are.
They were in Texas City, but it was like on the West Texas City side, like on the north, and there was these beautiful homes that they had just put down. I don't know what was there before, if there was something or it was like brand new land, but they had put these homes right here, and they were super nice.
Yeah.
Brand new.
So now that I know our home plans, I can drive through, especially if I know the area of town where we've built in the past. But I can drive through and kind of pick out houses. But what's really, really cool is that when the city gifts us this land, a lot of times they'll say, okay, but I want you to have a brick facing facade, or I want you to do this, or I want you to do that. And so we build these homes, and on our own plan too, we build these homes so that they match and they look like the neighborhoods that they're in, so that it's not just like that's a Habitat house. You know, we build these homes and we sell them at market value. They're energy efficient homes. We make sure that they're a high quality, and we have high building standards so that they're not just sticking out. They are really, really nice. They're about 1,200 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I think they're super cute. I want one myself. Apparently, I don't get an employee discount, but you know, they have really nice wood grain tile, a really nice neutral color scheme. They've got good cabinets. Whirlpool has very generously donated appliances to us. So every home comes with a dishwasher, a stovetop range, and a fridge, so that the homeowners just have to come up with a washer and dryer, which is incredible because, you know, appliances add thousands to your move-in cost.
Oh, yeah.
So they're really, really nice homes. They all have a bathtub and a shower, so if you have kids, you can still give them baths. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. We've talked about a lot. Is there anything else that we needed to touch on or reiterate?
So the obvious need is we need volunteers, right? So we have opportunities coming up in the very immediate future in May, but ongoing, we need volunteers for different opportunities that arise. There's all sorts of stuff, not even just at home builds if that's not your thing, but we always need help in the office, or we've got storage units that we're trying to consolidate and organize, that sort of thing. So there's a ton of opportunities, both in the middle of the week and on weekends. If you have a group, we can always make arrangement for you guys to come out. But we need donors as well. You know, I can't imagine having to operate a business in 2021 after dealing with COVID and all of that in today's climate. It's so challenging, but it's just as challenging for nonprofits too. You know, funding is down, everybody's tight right now, and so they're not giving as much as they normally would. We had to close the Restore due to COVID. Donations dropped.
I was going to ask that. What is the Restore?
So the Restore is, some affiliates have it, some don't. Not everybody has a Restore, but and they kind of vary on how they are inside. But it's recycled home goods. So some, like the Habitat Houston, is like a mini Lowe's. You know, they've got windows and doors and things like that you can go in and purchase, and that money goes directly towards funding future home builds for that affiliate. And then some of them will have chairs and couches and things like that. So
I could go in there and purchase and find, you know, some things that I need for my house or anything like that.
I've spent a lot of money at Restore.
So is the hope to open that again in the future sometime?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we would love to have that. That's a really awesome opportunity for us to fundraise. And then it's also a really good volunteer opportunity for the community. Right now, we do not have any immediate plans to reopen that. So our Restore is closed. There are other ones in Houston. And I don't know if we'll be able to open it anytime soon.
Because I'm really looking for an oven for the church, because we have one and it's been broken, and they're actually remodeling the kitchen. There's a kitchen way back there, and like I'll bring like food sometime. You know, HEB has these meals, and it's like put it in there for 18 to 22 minutes, right?
We don't have an oven.
And we don't have an oven, so if we did, it would just change my life.
Okay, so I'll just like leave you my house key. Okay. I live just down the road. You can borrow my oven anytime you want.
That would be nice.
No, so you might check out like the Houston Restore. They might have it.
Okay. And I asked them, y'all are remodeling the kitchen, so we're getting an oven, right? They're like, actually, no, we're not. I'm like, well, what are y'all doing it for? What are y'all doing it for?
So no, you're not getting one at all?
We're not getting an oven.
What about like a convection?
Yeah, there's one here, but it's not the same. The timing's different.
I don't know how to assist. I'm out of ideas.
Just the key.
Yeah.
Just leave your key there, and we're good to go.
Watch out for my dog. So.
Okay, I will. Yeah, dogs like me.
Yeah.
Would your dog like me? Okay, maybe not. All right. If I have food. I always have to come in with a treat or something, and it kind of works it out.
Yeah, so. Peanut butter cookies, man. That's what you need to do. So.
Awesome. Hey, Rayanne, one more time, what's the website? How can people go get information, sign up for eBlast, and reach out if they want to volunteer?
So the website is bahfh.org. You can also probably just Google Bay Area Habitat for Humanity. And I know that Gardy's going to tag our Facebook page in this, so you can just go to our Facebook and hop over from there. If you want to volunteer, you can email me via our website, or you can email us directly or message us on Facebook. I monitor any and all of those. So tons of ways to get in contact. Just let us know that you're interested in volunteering, and we are happy to assist.
Thank you for hanging out and joining today. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.